Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the February 3rd, 2025 regular council meeting to order. If everyone would stand for the invocation, please, and remain standing for Jay.
Gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for the opportunity to gather here this evening, Lord, to discuss the business of this town, Lord. We just ask that you use us in a way that is pleasing to you, Lord, that we would do those things in accordance with your will and your direction for our town, Lord. And Lord, we bless each of our employees, Lord. Keep them safe, keep them healthy, Lord, and continue to serve in the way that we should. For us, in Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. We don't have any remote participation. sir. All right, we've got one public participation. That's Miss Donna Leonard.
Good evening. My name is Donna Leonard. My address is 6415 Leonard Lane, and I am here tonight with just a major suggestion, and that is concerning the website. I have said to you all before that a website is sort of like the age of a dog, which means for every year you can count 7 years, and I don't know how old our website is, but I would pretty much say it qualifies to be a senior citizen. I've been involved with building websites before, and it's no easy task. It is very detailed, lots of components, lots of working components, and without having knowledge of how websites work, I learned a lot during the process of whether it was with the Chamber of Commerce or the Museum of Chincoteague or the Refuge Inn. There's a lot of components there, and I think it's a bigger task than one person needs to take on. I don't know whose job it would be in the town to oversee that, but I know Mike has got a whole lot on his plate, and I don't think if it were him that had to do this task, that it's just more than one person should do. We have a lot of people in this town who do have expertise in different areas. I have spoken to several of them to see if they would be interested in the idea that I'm going to propose. Brandon Elliott is one person who is a computer whiz, and he knows things that I will never even attempt to try to learn. He would be willing to give of his time. Joanne and Evelyn from the Chamber have a wealth of photographs that are available. And so what I'm going to suggest is that Denise and Mike get together and appoint a task force to tackle the job of getting a website up to date and up and running. I've heard a lot of complaints lately about people who want to pay their bills online, and apparently what we have now isn't quite user-friendly. Now, it may be user that doesn't understand how it works, but it's got to be user-friendly. So the girls in the office know what they need there. I know Kelly changed the pictures from when I complained about the one picture that I thought was a very negative message. Kelly or whoever is going to be in Kelly's place, whoever job that is, has to be able to go in there and work and make changes. It's a WordPress document now, but that was 70 years ago, so to speak. So what I'm going to suggest is that you build a task force. Cynthia Wilder is another person who has done a lot of work with building websites. And you have your web developer, but then you have all these other components. So I know that the Chamber's pictures could be just great. I think Kelly needs to be involved before she leaves office. She knows what she needs as far as her departments and being able to make those changes. The girls at the front desk, April and Louise, they know what they need as far as dealing with the public and what the public would like to be able to do in that website. There's a lot to it. So the other names, Cindy Faith is also somebody who has done work with nonprofits before, building websites. And so it's more than one person needs to look at. And once that web developer gets it all developed and brings it all to you and you go through it page by page, I think it would be a lot more efficient if different aspects were dealt out to different people in their area of expertise.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up we got a couple of staff recognitions. I'm going to stand up for this and read these out to you. We're going to do two proclamations tonight, and both of them are for our school resource officers, for Gino and John. Whereas the National Association of School Resource Officers is dedicated to making schools and children safer by providing the highest quality training to school-based law enforcement officers, and whereas school resource officers bridge gaps between youth and law enforcement and embrace a triad concept of school policing, serving in informal counseling, education, and law enforcement roles to support students and communities they serve, and whereas by training law enforcement officers to counsel, educate, and protect school communities, the men and women of NASRO, which is the National Association of School Resource Officers, continuously lead by example and promote a positive image of law enforcement to school children and school communities. And whereas SRO programs across the globe are founded as collaborative efforts by police agencies, law enforcement officers, educators, students, parents, and communities to create safe learning environments, provide valuable resources to school staff members, foster positive relationships with students, and develop strategies to resolve problems that affect youth with the goal of protecting all children so that they can reach their fullest potential. And whereas school resource officers are valuable and essential members of the education community and deserve unwavering respect and support from the public in the pursuit of keeping schools and students safe. Now therefore, the town of Chincoteague hereby proclaims February 15th as School Resource Officer Appreciation Day. And we recognize Officer Gino Giminani and Officer John Carmody as outstanding examples of such dedicated behavior. It was approved this day, 3rd day of February 2025. I'd like to have you both come up.
There's your camera.
Okay. Two very valuable members of our police department. All of them are valuable. They're two very valuable members in the school. I can't say enough about the importance of school resource officers in this day and age, and we're very blessed to have two of the best. All right, we're going to move on to staff reports, general government, and Mike.
Thank you, ma'am. Excuse me.
Wait a minute, did I have agenda adoption first? I'm sorry. Yep, agenda adoption. I missed that altogether. Need a motion for tonight's agenda adoption.
So moved.
Motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion carried. Sorry about that. All right, Mike.
Thank you, ma'am. Was contacted earlier last week about, from staff of Representative Kiggins about having a mobile office hours on the island. This would be an event where they would, a few of our staff members would show up. We'd put them in this room and they would advertise that well in advance. So anyone that has an issue that they'd like Representative Kiggins to work on for them could come by here and explain that to our staff. They'd be here between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. The planned date is February 19th, but that has not yet been confirmed. Still working on well relocation. Everybody's aware of what's going on with our wells. I currently am applying for a VDH planning grant that would help us give us some money to start planning, doing some preliminary engineering work. I'm doing that with the EPA's Technical Assistance Program, and also there's a staff expert from NASA helping us with that. He's a well expert. And we're going to be filling out some paperwork, hopefully get some money towards doing some preliminary engineering for relocating wells. Our sewage collection project, we held a pre-construction meeting with the successful contractor on the 27th to kick off construction. It was attended by Wes, myself, and our engineers from Davis, Bowen, and Friedel. Our contractor has 150 days per contract to complete the job. He does have a stop period where he has to shut down between Memorial Day and Labor Day, and he tells us that he'd like to staff the job so that they are completely done with this project before Memorial Day this year, to which we said fine. It's not costing us any more money, and it gets it done. As long as he abides by the contract, we are thrilled that he wants to get it done that quickly. So we're progressing, or proceeding in that vein. Some local legislation of interest. Each year, the General Assembly considers multiple bills that affect the town of Chincoteague. For the last 3 years, I've participated on the Commission of Local Government's Fiscal Analysis Program, where they allow, they will send an email to participant organizations or localities and ask you to comment on a bill as far as whether it will add cost to your budget or decrease your revenues. Those are the two basic questions they ask you, and allow you to comment on each one. A lot of them have are of no interest to us, but some local ones of note. This year we've got a bill which tried to protect pollinators, but in the process would basically have devastated our mosquito control program, where we would have been required to give 5 days notice before we even put the truck on the road to spray. And that, given the weather and the other constraints that we have to abide by, we would have not been able to fly at all, and the trucks would have been severely curtailed. So luckily that bill died in committee. ADUs, auxiliary dwelling units, is a big thing this year. It's been in the General Assembly the last few years, and basically this allows a dwelling unit to be placed on the same property with a dwelling unit that already exists, which our current zoning does not allow at all. There are a few guidelines, or I should say, there are a few stipulations that go with this legislation that would setbacks and that sort of thing. But basically, if this passes, it will require all localities they would have to include this in their zoning law. You would not have a choice. You would have to include it. And it takes the choice out of the locality's hands. Of course, we are not in favor of that. If we want to do it, we want to do it. If we don't want to do it, we'd rather say no. But this would not allow us to do that. Several bills that effectively allow the public employee the right to collective bargaining have been introduced. That is something that I think every locality that's a member of this Commission on Local Government Fiscal Analysis Program commented on. The numbers I saw were very high. I think saying here that they range from $150,000 annually to $366 million annually if this were to go through, and collective bargaining would be allowed for public service employees. I have contacted Delegate Bloxham and Senator DeStep on all of these and let them know how we feel about it. Meals and TOT. This, of course, is for January collections, which was the level of business in town for the month of December. We are down a little bit on meals, but still right there where we should be, in the high 80s percent for a percentage of budget. And we are up by 22.5% year over year in transit occupancy tax. So still moving along pretty well there. We're down in percentage of budget for transit occupancy tax over last year, the year before, and FY22, but we are catching up a little bit after last month. I still project that we will meet budgeted revenues for FY25 for both of those taxes. Financial report, again, we're where we should be. We're doing fine as far as overall expenditures and revenue collections at this point in time for FY25. Trolley, we have submitted our trolley grant application. Billy's done that, and now we're working on the audit for FY24. Billy's working on that with the RPT. Chincoteague Center, Mary Esther continues to book events there. For the month of January, we had the banquet for the new ladder truck was done. She said there were 300 people. It sure looked a lot more people than 300 there to me. Mary Esther attended 2 wedding shows in the Baltimore, D.C. area and talked to a lot of folks over that, so we're hopeful that that gets us some more weddings in here. 93rd birthday party for a lady, which was well attended. Bingo for the Island Community House. The Red Cross Blood Drive was last week, which they do every other month, and it was very well attended. All the appointments were taken, which was very good. And in February, she has 5 books, 5 events booked so far, including CFC Bingo, Farmers Banquet coming up this weekend, and Chamber has an event coming up. And she has a coup the Monday, the 24th. The center is hosting the SBA Tourism Summit, and that is usually not held at the center, but it will be this year. So we'll see how they like it. Maybe we'll continue having it here. Upcoming events for March. Marcy Cohn will be doing glass mosaic for beginners. We have a job fair on the 8th of March and an indoor yard sale on the 22nd. Moving on to building and zoning. We had Mark issued 28 building permits for the month of January. Total cost of building construction $1.5 million, and the total building permit fees collected were $2,600. And with that, if anyone has any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer them for you.
Got a question? When are they supposed to start the sewer?
They should have been on site today.
Okay, that was first day.
Yes.
Which end did they start at Main Street or?
They are going to start at the end of Maddoxtown when they actually start construction, actually digging holes. They're going to start at the museum. So by the time they get into town, they got everything down to a well-oiled machine.
Okay.
Chris, did you have something?
Yeah, on the, following up on the sewer, I think you were going to email us the actual route and everything. I don't think we ever received that. It was about the package or whatever, the bid package. And then on the water system, and I don't know, with the failures of the water systems in Richmond and Nancock having their trouble, do we have an independent assessment done on our water system on any kind of periodic basis?
Actually, in the budget, and you'll see it when we go through it here in a few days, Wes has talked to some folks who will do just that for us, and they actually talked to them before the Richmond thing and before the other things happened in Nancock and everything. This is basically a preventative maintenance program. It maintains the tanks, gives us an annual, stop me if I'm wrong, Wes, it gives us an annual report and inspection, and it also gives us painting on a regularly recurring basis, and it actually works out to be much cheaper than we paid for the last painting when you look at it. So we're going to be proposing that in the budget as we continue to go through a budget process this spring.
Follow up in Public Works.
Absolutely.
Yeah, when the contractor was here, he was talking about having hookups at certain spots. It'd be a lot less cost while he was doing it. Did he give you any prices on those hookups?
He's since kind of recanted that
Okay,
statement.
that's okay.
He sees that we've discussed that, and he sees, well, while it may be possible to save some money doing certain connections because of the physical procedures involved, it wouldn't be beneficial to hook up just anybody because it's going to require some extra work in these.
And it's going to slow him down.
Yes.
He's right now he wants to get it done.
Well, that's not just that's not the only thing. There's only going to be a pit dug about every 500 feet, and if there's a connection that happens to be in the vicinity of that pit, it could be done economically. But if it's not in the vicinity of those pits that are going to be every 500 feet or so, then it's not going to be much savings at all. So this is what we've currently discussed with him, and he backed up a little bit on that statement.
Any more questions for Mike? All right, Tyler, Chief Greenlee.
Yes, ma'am. So, you can see in your report, initially we only had one of our 2 officers complete the field training program. I'm happy to say tonight that both of them have completed their field training program. So if I can get Anthony Todd and Justin Newsom to stand up. They're our 2 newest officers. They graduated the academy. They completed their FTO program, and now they're certified officers.
Awesome.
They've already completed a few shifts by themselves, and they're working out, and we couldn't be more pleased to have them.
Good.
And then I haven't introduced Christian Stevens yet. Christian, if you want to stand up. Christian came to us from Accomack County Sheriff's Office. He came back in November. The stars aligned to get him here tonight. But Christian's doing a phenomenal job for us. I can't say enough about Christian and the work that he's doing for us. So he's been working the road, and he's good to go.
Good job.
That's all I have.
Mr. Parks?
Good evening. We did some shoreline protection up there at Wildcat, which kind of completes that whole process of the new water line that we installed. And we decided to put in riprap instead of crap wrap.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
So anyway, that got done and it looks a whole lot better. Took down all the Christmas decorations. The picture that I included comes right off our cameras down at the park. So, but we got all them taken down and stored and just waiting for next year. Next picture we had, as you all know, some snow removal that had to be done. And the guys did a great job of keeping on top of all that. But it also created a lot of work behind the scenes that nobody sees. We're still catching up. We've had to get another cutting edge for one of the plows. This was a chain that had broken. We had to replace on one of the spreaders. But anyway, that kept us busy for many hours this month. And then in the building that controls well 6 over on the mainland, the heater went up in that building, and it did it on the day when it was about 8 degrees that morning. And we were able to get another heater from a supplier and got it in that day, because that would not have been very good news if everything froze up inside that building. So we're anticipating the new floor going in the gym. So we were actively looking for indoor work on several days this month when it was very, very cold. We were trying to stay inside, so we took off some molding and did some work in preparation for that floor coming hopefully in March. Did some work at the old firehouse. We had some plumbing issues. We had some lighting issues. We had some furnace issues. We had some sewer issues. So it was plenty of time has been spent in the old firehouse this month as well. So for next month, or this month rather, we have ordered the materials for the Memorial Park Pier, and we're going to try and focus on that this month, because we want to be sure we get that done before season starts. We got a little bit more work to do down at the harbor, cleaning up. We did a big chunk of that. There's a little bit more work that needs to be done. And of course, we'll continue to monitor the installation of the force main sewer. They did start today with potholing existing utilities. Should be drilling tomorrow. So that's it. If y'all got any questions.
The riprap that you put up Wildcat, is that something, I mean, do you think it's good as far as looking at other spots on the island, the east side? I know we're constantly reminded of east side. Something like that.
No, you're right.
Yeah, I just,
Yeah.
When I looked out, I thought it looked great. Just thought there was other spots on the island, maybe if you thought it'd be useful, we could use it.
There are definitely spots that could use it, and I'd be glad to take a look at it. The reason I did this particular spot is because we caused the issue.
Right, I remember it did work, yeah. Okay.
Yep. All right. Is that it?
Anybody else for Wes?
Councilman Howard Ray, we're going to spend a lot of money in Quarrystone. It's, yeah.
All right, EMS, Mr. Rush.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So as you'll notice there on the board, we had a few changes from your final report. We ended up total of 58 calls for January, which is 12 more than we had last year, which for January is a lot of calls. Considering the weather that we had and the visitor attendance and so forth in January, that's a pretty pretty busy month. So January, probably up there with another one. Let's just not hope the whole year goes like January went. But we saw what happened last year. In that time period, it's being sensitive tonight. But in that time period, I was able to meet with Maryland State Police. We meet once a year with their aviation division to discuss, what went well this year, what didn't go well. We, have incidents where, maybe Salisbury's not the most appropriate place for the patient. So medics will do dual consults with Salisbury, Hopkins, shock trauma, maybe some other institutes. At which time, they'll go, yep, we'll accept the patient. So we'll meet a helicopter somewhere between here and Salisbury. We even have the option to go to the hangar, if it comes to that. But a lot of times, Newtown Park there in Pocomoke is a real common place. We'll meet the helicopter there, Dividing Creek, things like that. And then certainly if we have incidents around here or we have, the time, we'll meet them at Wallops. But the goal is to go towards the helicopter to save as much time as possible. So we went over a few things, what we could do better, what went great, and hopefully we can better serve folks in the coming year. I was asked, along with Jamie Wheatley, to attend the regional drug kit touch base. So we are the only department here on the shore that has finally got our drug kit program up and running. So Chincoteague, Northampton County, and Accomack County, of the three programs, we're the only one. In the Tidewater region, which encompasses Chesapeake, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, over towards Hampton and so forth, there's still very few people that have got their kits up and running. So they were asking, hey, can you share some of your successes and failures with us to help us get up and running? So I felt that was a pretty good honor to actually be asked to actually do that. So that was, a thing that we can certainly help out on here. The Eastern Shore Trauma Symposium. So this was the first time that this has been done. Due to the money factors and so forth that's happened within the Office of EMS and the Department of Health over the last couple of years, the state symposium had been canceled. And so regions are starting to reach out and try to do their own thing. So the Eastern Shore Trauma Symposium happened just last week. And with that, Parksley Volunteer Fire Company, Nancock Volunteer Fire Company, Oak Hall Volunteer Fire Company, or Volunteer Rescue, Chincoteague Volunteer Fire Company, along with Riverside and Nancock, got together, ponied up some money, and actually we had almost a 50% attendance from our folks on their days off. They were like, we want to go do this. And I had 3 that actually stepped up to teach for the symposium. So that went a really long way as far as I'm concerned to help the shore. And then we had some other really good medics throughout the shore that stepped up. We had some good doctors that provided lecture. And with that, they were able to do a 3-day program that provided a continental breakfast each day, a T-shirt for the participant, and lunch. So, for those folks stepping up like that was really good. And the program was the same program for 3 days. So that way, anyone that was on shift had the opportunity to actually be able to go to some trauma symposium. And so talks are in the works right now that we think we're going to do something with stroke and sepsis in the coming months and have a symposium like that. So maybe 3 times a year we're going to be able to pull something like this off. So again, that was a real success. On the emergency management side of the house, so of course been doing a little bit of weather monitoring, a few little snow reports here and there. We're launch monitoring and doing range meetings, with the upcoming schedule so that we can make sure we stay ahead of it, along with our planning team folks, Chief Greenlee, Mr. Parks, Mr. Talbert, so that we can make sure that we're providing the appropriate response for the visitors that come, and also from a safety perspective. Attended the Eastern Shore Disaster Preparedness Coalition, and a lot of these meetings, a lot of emergency management, really is who you know. I can call a counterpart on the western side of the state and say, hey, have you ever dealt with this before? And, oh, yeah, okay, tell me what you did. And with that disaster coalition, we're able to do that. We're able to work and collaborate together. And out of that, as you can see there on the right-hand side, that gentleman was actually here today in our EOC back there in our ham radio cubby. actually working on our ham radio, and that came out of the Disaster Coalition. So with that, we're trying to do maintenance on the radio. We found a little issue with potentially the cabling and or the antenna. So he volunteered. That's Mr. Bill Wallace. He's with the Eastern Shore Amateur Radio Club. And he just retired from NASA with a lot of years of communication. So he's like, hey, I'd like to be able to help my community. So again, a great thing that we were able to do out of that coalition. The Delmarva Emergency Task Force, we met our quarterly meeting up in Salisbury this time, which was probably the closest I think I've ever been for a task force meeting. Usually it's up in Delaware. Still working on the EOP revision, and then, like I said, Mr. Wallace is volunteering his time to help us get this set up, and has even, said that he would like to do some time in the EOC if need be. So again, I'll mention it, prepare now. Don't wait until the wind's blowing and the tide's rising. Do it on a nice, beautiful, sunny day. So in summary, EMS had a busy January for what January is. We're going to be working on many plan revisions and rewrites. Like I said, month in January, that in 25 we're due for, especially our EOP, according to the code for the Commonwealth. That's an every 4-year rewrite, and we got a lot of other plans that coincide with that, so we're going to go ahead and work them in at the same time. Winter weather and nor'easters is still possible. It's still early. It's early February. So again, prepare now and let's hope for the best. I'll entertain any questions.
Thank you.
Any questions for Brian? Okay. Thank you, Brian. Committee reports. First one, Miss Ellen, Public Works.
Okay, January the 7th, the Public Works Committee met. We discussed about Maddox Boulevard, the Eel Creek culverts. Some of you probably noticed every once in a while there's a sinkhole there by Eel Creek. And after a while, it's going to really fail. I think the town has done some patchwork there at one time, didn't it, Mr. Talbot? Yes, ma'am. So we discussed about this, and Mr. Talbert's suggestion was instead of slip aligning the pipe that's there, to put in concrete culverts, and they're big, humongous culverts. Maybe at the next meeting we can have some pictures of them.
Yes, ma'am.
But anyway, that was the suggestion that the Public Works Committee came up with, and I think that was just about all. They had discussed about the harbor cleanup and the snow removal. I think that was it.
Any questions? Any questions from Miss Ellen? I have one. I don't know if it should be directed to you, maybe Wes, I'm not sure. I know you've hit it, you've had to hit it with that bus. When you're going North Main Street, about 3 feet on the other side of Taylor Street, see that nice little dip there?
That's in the works for Taylor Street construction.
Good,
That's a drain.
good.
Am I correct? That's a drain. That was
Awesome.
supposed to have started maybe some engineering or something on that this month or next month.
Yeah. We'll concentrate on the pier first and getting that done, and then we'll move on.
Yeah, because that street will probably be blocked off, won't it? Which means there won't be no buses going down it either.
It seems like it's just gotten worse over time. When
It
you
has.
and
It's a bad deal.
yeah, and you don't know it till you've already been
Go
on it.
faster and you'll feel it.
Trust me. Yeah. Any questions for Miss Ellen?
That's all I have. Thank you.
All right. Budget and personnel, Mr. McComb.
Yes, ma'am. Budget personnel met on Tuesday, January 14th. Town Manager Talbert led us through a review of revenues as well as proposed tax rates and our fee schedule for the coming fiscal year. Had a good amount of discussion about all those things. Also, we had a review with Chief Greenlee as far as the current year of our police vehicles and what they anticipate remaining life of that was, and then also what his recommendations were for future purchase needs. In addition to that, we were led in a discussion with the director of the community center as far as potential capital improvement projects over the next several years, everything ranging from the purchase of new chairs to additional lighting over there, as well as controls. And then something that the council will be asked to consider and act upon later in the meeting. We talked about proposed change of verbiage as well as benefit as it relates to the sick leave and bereavement leave policies. And again, that's later in our agenda. So that's it.
Any questions for Mr. McComb? Mike?
Yes, ma'am.
We had unanimously approved to send to council to vote on the proposed tax rate. Are we doing that tonight or no?
That'll be done when you approve the budget. That'll
All
be
the same.
part of that.
Okay. Okay. Need a motion for the adoption of the minutes.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to adopt January 6th and January 16th. Town minutes, all approved, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So move. Moving on. Ms. Moore from the Shingatig Chamber of Commerce.
Right.
Good evening, Mayor. On behalf of I'm Joanne Moore. I am the Executive Director of the Shingatig Chamber of Commerce. And this evening I will be presenting our 2024 annual report. As the official marketing entity for the town of Shingatig and a destination marketing organization as designated by Virginia Tourism Corporation, our mission remains steadfast in promoting Shingatig Island as a premier travel destination. We are honored to be a part of this community for 70 years, providing dedicated service to our businesses and helping visitors create lasting memories. The report will highlight economic impact numbers as well as our achievements, market efforts, membership engagement, and upcoming initiatives. You all have received the annual report in your packet. You have a hard copy, and it is also available on our website underneath the membership tab. I'm not going to read through everything since you do have it, but we have our mission and what it means to be a destination marketing organization, our board of directors and team members. Then I just want to start with economic impact numbers. So Virginia Tourism Corporation each year compiles economic impact numbers for the 133 localities across the state. And these are the 2023 economic numbers for Accomack County. There was $179.6 million in visitor spending, which was a 33.3% increase over 2019 and an 8% increase over 2022. It included $11.2 million in visitor-generated state and local taxes and supports 1,420 jobs in the county. For the Eastern Shore, visitor spend grew 35% over 2019 and 6.7% over 22. Our marketing dollars, we strategically place ads to best benefit the island. We look at what the value is, the reach that it's going to get, what markets we want to penetrate. And our marketing spend last year was just over $78,000, but the value of that was almost $328,000. So for every dollar we do an advertising spend, we are receiving $4 in advertising value. That comes from print media, digital, travel guide distribution, and some radio ads. And the big piece also is earned media. So last year, in 2024, we had over 300 outlets that had ads, TV commercials, or TV segments focused or mentioning Shingatig Island. Those earned media contacts come through our marketing efforts, a lot of them, where they are travel writers who have worked with us previously. They saw an ad in a newspaper or a magazine that we placed, and they, worked off of that to write their own article. So that earned media is essential. And it's through our marketing dollars that those earned media outlets find us and contribute to the promotion of Chincoteague Island and across the country. So it basically works out that our print costs were about 21% of our budget. Digital, which includes our Google Ads, our webcam, the Visit widget, the Chincoteague app, our kiosk, SEO, TV commercials was about 46%. Distribution of the visitor's guide, which is 80,000 copies, was about 22%. Our reach for the year through the chamber office, through the website, email distribution, our webcams, the online visitor guide, office interactions, the widget, all those technologies, along with our social media, we reached 5.5 million people last year. That's a lot for a little office of, at that time, 2 people. We had the most visitors to our website that we've ever had, was reaching almost 300,000 users, which was an 8% increase over 2023. So again, people are seeing that advertising and they're coming back to our website, or they're going to the widget or the app. We're trying to diversify how people get information about Chincoteague because people want to find that information in different ways. So we were very happy with that reach last year.
Joanne?
Yes.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Sure.
The Chincoteague app, is that a free app?
Yes.
Was it any inside purchases once you
Nope.
get in there?
Nope, no ads, no nothing. Cool. And it has the membership, it has our events calendar, it also has itineraries, planned itineraries that we have built, but people can go in and build their own itineraries, so they can pick and choose restaurants or boat cruises or however they want to build their vacation and put it in there. We also added last year the trolley schedule, so people can go onto the app and see the route that the trolley takes and the stops, each individual stop, which the trolley brochure doesn't include all those. So it was confusing to folks of like, well, where do I go? So we put every single stop from the trolleys for both routes onto that app. Anything, does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Yep, oops. In 2024, our membership grew to 313 members. We had 24 new members last year, and we have an 87.2% retention rate. The national average is 76%. So again, we are happy that our members see the value in the investment that they're making with the chamber when they join, and that our numbers are above average, and that we're serving them so that they want to continue to be a chamber member. We also had 34 workforce development opportunities with job fairs and different partnerships. We had 17 different networking opportunities, our general membership meeting, annual awards luncheon, member luncheons, business after hours, open houses, grand openings, ribbon cuttings. Actually, ribbon cuttings are separate. And then we had 5 ribbon cuttings last year. Again, I think you all know of the off-season tourism drivers that the Chamber has with the Easter Decoy Festival, Chincoteague Seafood Festival, Oyster Festival, and the Christmas Parade. Each one of those brings thousands of people into the island. So we're working to help extend that season so people come other than Memorial Day to Labor Day. Some of our achievements for last year, we hosted the 2024 Virginia Tourism Corporation Visitor Center Seminar. That brought 70 plus Welcome Center and Visitor Center managers from across the Commonwealth here to Chincoteague. We gave them a FAM tour. They had some professional development. Again, it's an opportunity so that when somebody comes into their Welcome Center and they say, hey, we're headed over to the Eastern Shore, what should we do? They can say, we went to Chincoteague, and these are the things we got to enjoy, and this is what you should go do while you're there. We have been to those fam tours in other parts of the community or other parts of the Commonwealth, and we do that. We're like, you're headed here. This is what we got to enjoy while we were there. Make sure you stop by this restaurant or stop by and do this. So it's great outreach, and that the Welcome Centers and Visitor Center staff are sharing their message and their experience about Chincoteague. We've been working with the town and the museum on VA 250. We have been working with the fire company on the 100th anniversary of pony penning. We completed a Virginia Tourism Corporation Destination Marketing Organization Spring Grant. That helped build our photo library with over 400 professional photographs focused on outdoor recreation activities, cultural experiences, shopping, and we have been using them in our marketing materials, but we also shared that file with our membership so that they could use it in their own marketing for their own personal businesses as well. We have completed the 2025 Chincoteague Visitors Guide membership directory. It should be arriving on Thursday. We are very excited. Again, 80,000 copies will get distributed worldwide, with the majority of them being distributed as I speak. We're one of the last folks to get the guides. So they're already on the street. They're in welcome centers. They're in AAA offices. They'll be in Pennsylvania Turnpike, Delaware. In our target market, people can go and pick up a visitor's guide. And for 2025, we're excited that Pony Swim was featured on the cover of the Virginia Travel Guide this year. That is a big thing. So Virginia Tourism Corporation does not put events on the cover of their visitor guide. They put destinations. So the fact that Pony Swim was chosen, something Evelyn started 5 years ago, pitching the idea to them, came to fruition, and we're very excited about that. We had an inkling when they sent this whole coalition of folks last year to Pony Swim that maybe we might have a chance, and we were excited to see. That is actually the summer cover. We actually have the summer cover at the chamber office, but the rest of the state will get it once the spring cover has been depleted. Again, we're still working with the fire company on Pony Swim activities. We're looking forward to helping promote their special events and the events that the community develops to celebrate this historic milestone. We look forward to engaging with our stakeholders in a strategic plan for the chamber. We are looking at different ways to continue to grow our membership and improve on our membership opportunities. And we're looking at evaluating and improving the website to make it more user-friendly. We've already started doing some of those things in-house, and then some of them will take a little bit more working with our web hoster to do. Sending our new to some professional development. They will both be going to VACI, which is the Virginia Association of Chamber of Commerce Executives in Stanton in March. They'll also go to VA1, which is the Governor's Tourism Summit in November. So those are great opportunities for Shelley and Mariah to meet other chambers and other tourism folks and to glean ideas off of them and see what other chambers are doing, what other tourism offices are doing across the Commonwealth to spark new ideas and innovations that they can bring back and we can implement here. So as we look ahead, the Chamber remains committed to fostering economic growth, supporting local businesses, and enhancing visitor experiences. With exciting milestones like the 100th Pony Swim, continuing engagement in strategic planning, and a new staff that is insightful, eager to learn, and excited to develop new initiatives to benefit our membership, we are poised for another successful year. Through collaboration, innovation, and dedication, we will ensure that Chincoteague remains a vibrant and thriving destination not only for the year ahead, but for generations to come. I would like to thank each of you and the town, our membership, partners, volunteers, and the community for their ongoing support and investment in the Chamber, as each plays a vital role in fulfilling our mission and continue to foster economic growth for the island. Thank you.
Any questions?
Any questions?
Yeah, any questions for Joanne?
Yeah,
Or comments?
Does interest seem up for this year?
I'm sorry?
Does interest for coming to Shingatig team up. this
Yes,
year. Good, that's
yeah.
what
I mean, we've been getting lots of phone calls.
We all want to hear that.
We were getting phone calls in January 24 for summer 25. Usually it starts in January of that year, so people have been excited. We've
That's
been
what
getting
pays the bills.
Yep. Yep.
Definitely, thank you.
Any more questions for Joanne? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Okay, next up, consider personnel policy manual changes. Billy, over to you.
So in everybody's packet, you have two memos. We'll start with the memo first. Two primary changes on this is in item 4 and 5. 4 starts off as far, and what we wanted to add there was in red, illness, injury, or medically necessary care of family members such as spouse, child, parent, siblings, or in-laws. What we're removing there is living in the same household as the employee. And then also item 5 would be stricken as well, which read for illness, injury, or necessary care of parents, mother, and or father of the employees not living in the household. The only note I had on here, Mike, was like the terminology we had that you put for us in the bereavement leave. We also wanted to have the our comparable step relations as well as the legal domestic partner added to the sick leave in both policies. So this is something that went through BMP after discussion of everybody at the meeting, and we'd like council consider to approve the adoption of these changes.
You hear a motion?
I'll second.
Motion by Jay, second by Gene Wayne to approve the new language for the sick leave for our employees. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Madam Mayor,
So
if I could clarify, the language that Councilman Combs said will be added, that motion included the language being from the bereavement leave added to the sick leave policy.
Okay. Thank you.
And then the second item under this agenda item is under bereavement leave. A couple changes here. An employee shall be granted up to 5 days of paid bereavement. It was 3, or currently in the policy it's 3 days of paid bereavement leave in the event of the death of a spouse, child, parent, grandparent, sibling, or comparable step relation. We would also add or legal domestic partner within that sentence as well. And then also an employee may be granted up to, instead of 3 days of paid bereavement leave in the event of the death of a father-in-law, mother-in-law, son-in-law, daughter-in-law, brother-in-law, or sister-in-law. So also this was discussed by the full Budget and Personnel Committee as well as everybody there, and we certainly appreciate if the full council would consider voting this recommendation.
Got a motion? Motion by Jay, second by Gene Wayne to approve the bereavement leave as read by Mr. McComb. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. And Mike, you've gotten here adoption of minutes again. Was that wrong?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Called it the second time. All right, so we've got some vacancies on some committees here in town. We got vacancies on the Planning Commission, Harbor Committee, BBA, and BZA. And I am going to start with the Planning Commission first. Now, I've got some notes here, and you all council has in your, you all have in your packet the people that have put in interest for this. So the procedure is going to be like this. I'm going to open the nominations stating that nominations for Planning Commission are now in order, and at which time members of council may propose nominations. I will announce each nomination as I hear it. No member of council has the right to nominate more than one member to the committee until each council member has had the opportunity to nominate one person. Once no other nominations are heard, I will ask, are there any additional nominations? If no more are heard, I will state that the nominations are now closed. So I'm going to start with the Planning Commission. And Mike, or actually Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, we have what, 3 openings or 4? 4. 4, okay. Okay, so nominations for the Planning Commission are now in order.
Mayor Bowden?
Yes.
I would like to nominate Steve Casados for Planning Commission.
Mayor Bowden, I'd like to nominate Pat Farley.
I would like to nominate Giovanni Rosanova.
I'd like to nominate John Tavalaro.
This is for Planning Commission.
Mhm.
I'd like to nominate Sonia Watson Counselor.
Anyone else? Are there any additional nominations? All right, the nominations are now closed. And it says if there are more nominations than vacancies, and there are, I will repeat the names of all nominees in the order in which they were received. Once complete, I will then put a vote to each nominee in the same order that they were nominated. A nominee must receive a minimum of 4 votes to be placed on the committee. The election of nominees will proceed in this manner until all vacancies have been filled, at which time the committee is formed and no more votes will be taken. Once formed, council may appoint a chair of each committee or allow members of the committee's first meeting to select a chair by the same nominations and voting procedure. So, first one we had up for Planning Commission was Steve Casados.
Madam Mayor, you
Yes.
want to read them all first?
I thought it said each one. Put a vote to each nominee in the same order.
It would, prior to that, you were going to repeat
Who were nominated?
repeat those who were nominated first.
Oh, okay. All right. Steve Casados, Pat Farley, Giovanni Rosanova, John Tavalaro, and Sonia Watson Costner. All right. Each one. Steve Casados. 1, 2, 3. All right. Steve. Pat Farley. Giovanni. John Tavalaro. Sonia Watson Costner. Okay. So our new members of the Planning Commission are Steve Casados, Patricia Farley, Giovanni Rosanova, and John Tavalaro. All right, then we're going to go to the Harbor, which has 1 vacancy. And that's Danny Bowden's, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And he has expressed
Yes, ma'am.
to continue. Danny Bowden?
I'll make a motion, I'll make a
Second.
motion for Dave Bowden.
Any more nominations? Move that nominations be closed. So we need to vote on that properly?
Yes.
We just said it. All right, got a motion and a second to nominate Danny Bowden to the Harbor Committee for another term. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right. All right, the BBA, which is the Board of Building Appeals, currently has 2 vacancies created by the expiration of the term of Mr. John Whalen and Ms. Sonia Watson Conser. I believe they have both expressed interest in staying on the board.
Yes.
So,
I'll make a motion to nominate Ms. Sonia Watson, counselor.
I'll make a motion to nominate Mr. John Whalen.
any more nominations from the floor? Okay. Can we do both at one time or each separate?
Since there are two
You don't have to
vacancies and
vote.
only two were nominated,
Don't have to vote,
you don't even
okay.
have to vote.
Okay. All right, BZA. Currently has 2 vacancies. One was created by the expiration of the term of Mr. David Quillen, and the second by the death of Mr. Eddie Moran. All members of the BZA are appointed by the Circuit Court for a term of 5 years. It is customary, however, for council to recommend a candidate to the court for appointment. Upon recommendation, Mike will prepare a request. Mr. Quillen has expressed interest in being reappointed to the board. And there's one more opening.
I'll make a motion for Mr. Quillen to be reappointed.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to appoint Sonia Watson Cosner.
Do you need a second? I'll second.
Okay. Any more nominations? Okay, these nominations are closed. Do we need to vote on
No,
that?
ma'am.
Because we had 2. Okay. All right, so BZA, David Quillen and Sonia Watson. And Mike, you will send a letter to the Circuit Court for that.
I will.
Okay. All right, Mayor, Council, and comments. Miss Ellen?
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Bott?
One thing, we didn't have any discussion on the changes we made in the the policy manual for sick leave and bereavement. I think one thing that needs to be kept in mind as you're preparing the budget is the staffing levels, because we've increased the leave available for those positions through those 2 changes there, more so probably with sick than with bereavement. But we don't want our service to the citizens to suffer due to, increased or availability of leave for the employees. So I think that needs to be considered as you go forth with the budget when it comes to personnel, especially in the front office area that services citizens. That's all I have to say.
Nick?
No, nothing at this time.
Billy?
Just appreciate everybody's interest in serving on the committees. It's nice to see so much interest, and I echo what Chris says. We just want to make sure we're staffed properly for a multitude of reasons, but totally agree. So,
Gene?
And Brad, I know you agree with me on this one. It's great to see the scouts here.
yeah.
Don't come just because they have a badge. I know it's boring to you, but it's not going to be that much longer. You'll be sitting here, and the leaders. Thank you so much. And I want to tell you something. The youth in our community is worth it. I'm also going to tell you younger ones, when you get older, you make sure that you are leaders. If somebody's put time in for you, make sure that you put time in for the youth coming up behind you. So, and it's also great having our police officers, so many of our police officers here, and it's great to see them. And nobody knows what you do. Everybody thinks Chincoteague is a picnic, and I wish it was the picnic that Alan thinks it is. But thank you for what you do. Thank you for what you're going to have to continue to do, because it's not getting better. And thank you all so much for willing to put your lives on the line for this town. Thank you.
Jay?
I just appreciate the volunteers for the committees. It's much appreciated. And also just a shout out to the SROs. I think they do a fantastic job. I take my grandkids to school quite a bit, and I know they're there, and the kids really love them as well. And that camaraderie between the kids, the teachers, and the SROs is great. That's all I have.
Thank you for being here. He's right, hopefully in 10, 15 years, I'm not sure how old you are right now, but, would be nice to see younger folks sit up here in these seats too. It's not easy, but it's very rewarding. And I'm sure Scouts is the same way. I know it's very rewarding to you all. So thank you for bringing them in. Donna, to address the website, I know Mike has been working with someone about developing a new website. But you're right. It needs to be put out to pasture, and hopefully we'll have something up and going and sooner than later. But I know, but it has been addressed. Thank you over here, willing to serve this town. I can't say enough about that. Miss Pat, Sonia, it's we got a lot of work to do, and it's an evolving thing. And so thank you all for that. And Joanne, thank you for your report too. That was Chamber does a lot of work, a lot of promoting of Shingatig, and it's like Gene said, it's what pays the bills. So with that, need a motion to adjourn.
Smooth.
Got a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Y'all have a good night.